Take a look at that guy on my screen right over there. You see him? His name is Indy Bala. Endibala. He's in jail right now. He was arrested in August 2024 for an attempted kidnapping of two young girls in separate incidents. Both were thwarted by Good Samaritans. The first incident happened in Clinton Township in August of last year. He allegedly attempted to unlawfully imprison a 15-year-old girl when she was walking alone. A witness intervened, allowing the girl to escape. 1 hour later, he allegedly approached a 7-year-old girl who was riding her bicycle, tried to get that girl or push her into his car. A bystander blocked the vehicle, allowing the girl's aunt to fight him off and rescue the child. Fast forward a year. Now, he may not be getting any jail time or any prison time. Why is that? Because of a plea deal, because he has been ruled to be insane, or at least at the time of the crime, he was insane. So he may be going to a mental institution instead of prison or jail. And that is upsetting the victims' families in this case. I have an exclusive interview with the aunt of that 7-year-old who was fighting him off. You're going to hear from her in just a minute or two. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. But before I do that, I want to get a statement in from the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office. Many people are asking, why would the prosecutor's office agree to a plea deal in something like this? Why would they go along with a plea deal? You're probably asking yourself. Well, I have a statement right here from the Macomb County Prosecutor. I'm going to read this to you. In part, they say, although we do not comment on pending cases, there is a process for when an accused is referred to the Forensic Center, which is a state-operated psychiatric facility for a mental health evaluation. They say if the accused is first deemed to be competent to stand trial, a second evaluation is made to make a legal determination of culpability. A forensic center psychiatrist may determine that the accused was legally insane at the time of the alleged offense. Given that the state of Michigan preferred experts from the forensic center are professionals whose guidance we consistently trust and who are widely regarded as leading authorities, we do not believe it is appropriate to search for an expert simply to challenge their findings. We are not psychiatrists ourselves, and we have no foundation to dispute their opinion. In light of their reputation and longstanding reliance on their expertise, seeking a contrary view would be improper. So basically, they're saying the experts are saying that he was insane at the time this crime was committed, and they don't say it in the statement, but according to what I'm hearing from the victims' families, they are agreeing to a plea deal. So that plea deal would be no jail time, no prison time. All the details aren't worked out yet, but they do say if an insanity plea is accepted by the court after a subsequent evaluation of the forensic center and an affirmation of the original findings of insanity, such a case is sent to the probate court. The prosecutor's office provides victims contact information to the court and allows the court to give notice in the event the defendant is ever going to be released. Okay, well, that is a statement from the Macomb County prosecutor, right? What about the attorney for the suspect, for the accused in this case, Mr. Bala? I reached out to him as well. His name is Samuel Bennett. He gave me this statement. He says, I know the families are upset. And stay with me, everyone. By the way, I have the victim's relative on camera. I'm talking to her in just a minute. The attorney says, I know the families are upset, but our system is set up to help people who are mentally ill. It's cruel and unusual punishment to lock up a mentally ill or legally insane person. Mr. Bala will receive treatment at a hospital in the future. He won't be released from that hospital until he's no longer a danger to himself or others based on his mental illness. The family, and listen to this, the family, he says, attempted to get Indy help multiple times, but to no avail, even just shortly before the incident. The police were called several times to request they take him to the hospital instead of helping him. The police shrugged it off as a civil issue. I have no evidence of that. I do not have the paperwork. I'm going with what the attorney says. This is a sad case all around. There's no doubt that the families are upset over what's going on with this case. My hope is that they can come to terms with how the system works, regardless of where you're born. This has nothing to do with nationality or citizenship. Why does he say that? Well, because the relative that you're about to hear from in just a few seconds, she tells me that the police officers on scene when this incident happened told her that Mr. Bala is not a legal citizen of the United States. She was told he overstayed a visa. Now, his attorney said that's not true, that he is a citizen or that he is working to become a citizen. But she says her allegations are not true. I want to get to her interview. She was there. She saw it happen. She rescued her niece, and she is mad, and she is hoping that the court does not accept this plea deal. Let's hear from her. There's so much stuff going on in the criminal justice system that people don't know about. You often hear about arrest in cases when they happen, but you don't hear about what happens later. That's why I have Alicia here right now. It was about a year ago, actually more than a year ago, that your life, you went through hell and you're still going through it. It sounds like. Good. Thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's truly you're doing great things out here. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, people don't realize I used to be a news reporter. When we covered the incidents, many times we never followed up on what happened later. And that's why I have you here. So, tell me what happened. This go back to August, I think it was August 2024.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was a beautiful summer day. The kids were just chanting "Best day ever." We
And what
decided.
what kids are we talking about?
Sorry, yes. So it was best day ever. The My niece and my son and I were down in Sterling Heights, Macomb, Michigan, and we were riding through the Dodge Park trails, which is a staple in the community. And on our way out of the park, there was some fishy things happening in the park. I didn't feel comfortable. There was random single adult males that were just lurking in corners. One even came out of the bushes a little bit. And I was like, we need to go. Let's stay together. And I'm that mom that hovers, like we all stay tight knit and close. And so on our way out of the park, my niece was on her bike, and my son, we live in the country, so he was new to two wheels. And when we were leaving, she crossed the exit way of the driveway, and we were still on the other side. And I was like, come on, Dominic. So as I looked at her and I turned backwards, a car came up in between us, and I turned my head, and I'm very aware and hyper vigilant of this stuff. And I just knew the minute he opened his door and we locked eyes, he walked around. I was on rollerblades. I started charging at the car and I started screaming for her to run, go. And there's actually camera footage. Thankfully, there was a neighbor because we were fighting to tell the cops that what actually happened. It was his word against ours. But he picked her up off of her bicycle, put her into the passenger seat, and then we met. I dove through the driver window and just fought for her life.
Was he like the car still going at the time or
He
what?
parked it, and in that time, he parked it, got around, grabbed her, went in, and that's when he was in the passenger seat. I dove into the window, and he we basically fought for the steering wheel. And I kind of just laced my arm all the way through so I could really hold on. And yeah, it just was a fight for her ever since. And we just kept fighting back and forth. He had one hand on her. He had one hand trying to like grab the wheel, steal, get me out of the window. And then I had one hand on the wheel and one hand to kind of like try and get him to break his grab on her because he just had her held so tightly.
Wow. That is a nightmare. That's literally what every parent that's a nightmare, really.
Yeah, really. And then the worst case after it was seeing my son was ran over. By the time I got punched, he let her go because our there was a citizen on patrol that day, a volunteer group through Sterling Heights that saw what was happening, which is crazy because so many cars drove past at the time, and I was just thinking, why is nobody stopping? Because he
Yeah.
drove back and forth trying to get rid. Once he got into the driver's seat, and so I kept telling her to open the door, get out, and she would try. As soon as the car would get going, it would slam shut. And then my son got in front of the car to try and stop it, and I told him that was very brave, but next time don't get in front of a car. But yeah, when I got punched to the ground, I saw he was on the ground screaming, crying, blood all over the place. And then I looked to my right and she was booking it like her life depended on it into the park away from us.
And then the 8-year-old he hit the 8-year-old?
So I think what happened was that he was in front of the car, and then I don't know if he actually physically hit him or if he just ran him over, but he was in front of the car trying to stop us, and then I don't know what happened. He was
Okay.
on the ground, ran over.
Okay, but and then it's after that the local, not police, but whatever, they detain him.
Yeah, yeah, they got him out of the car. God sent, truly.
Wow. Okay. Did he fight back or did they have to fight?
No,
Literally?
no, he got right out, and that was it. He just stood there, asked
Okay.
for a cigarette, and that was it.
Now, there was another incident that day.
Yeah, just an hour prior, he tried to kidnap a 15-year-old girl in Clinton Township, just the next city over.
How do we know about that?
I didn't at the time. I didn't find out until I didn't even have a phone. I lost it throughout all the thing. And then later on at nighttime, the story broke because there was someone had called the police, and then obviously it connected. They were looking for him, and then he had already attacked us, and so they connected the stories together at that point.
Okay, and you obviously talked to investigators, detectives, and all that kind of stuff. Did they talk to you about that previous case or no?
No, they didn't know anything. They didn't
Oh,
really know anything. It actually was kind of crazy. I remember speaking to everybody, telling the story 100 times, and I look over and he was still uncuffed, and I was like, "Why is he not in handcuffs?" And I'm holding the children for dear life. Like that feeling is unreal, and I couldn't let them go. But when when I saw him uncuffed smoking a cigarette, I'm like, what is he doing? Why are you guys not arresting him? He just kidnapped my niece, what is a 7-year-old girl. And
my God.
I kind of had to fight. So I started yelling for people to start recording because we live in
Yeah.
a day and age where you need to have everything on camera to prove everything. And it's crazy. And then thank God there was a ring camera that caught him picking her up off of the bike.
Oh, really? Okay. It's looking between Sterling Heights and Clinton Township, kidnapping, reckless driving, assault and battery, attempted unlawful imprisonment, assault and battery. Those are all felonies, I believe.
Um, well, mine and my son's are misdemeanors, and actually, they were going to charge him only for a reckless driving for running over my son, because they said that's all that they could prove out of it.
Did the kidnapping stay? That's still in there,
The
right?
attempted kidnapping did stay, but he's not going to be convicted of it next week.
Okay, that's so next week is a sentencing.
No, we never even made it to trial.
Okay, so yeah, what happened? Are we talking about a plea deal?
Yes. So we've
How did
been
did,
fighting.
did and let me ask because I used to cover the courts all the time. I would hope that the prosecutors and all of them they came to you and they discussed any plea deal, right?
No, not
So
quite.
you were the you and is your niece nephew no
All of the above. My
okay
niece. Oh no, I'm sorry. My niece and my son. My niece and my son.
your niece and your son were the victim of a crime, you as well,
Mhm.
and the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office engaged in a plea deal without ever talking to you.
So we have been told by the victim advocates that we do not, and I don't say this in the exact verbiage. So this is kind of how the Macomb Daily article got posted because I tried to record the court date because we're not getting told the truth. The mom of the grandmother of the daughter that was, I'm sorry, the grandmother of the 15-year-old that
Yeah.
was kidnapped just a little bit earlier, she had received a text message that it wasn't required for her to come, almost as if they were trying to not get us to attend all this whole year. And I actually had to fire the victim's right advocate in the very beginning because I told her that I had found all of this in a quick search. How is he continuing to get out of all of these crimes? And I am going to be there to show up because he needs to stay behind bars. I knew this is how it was going to go, and I kept bringing it to them, and they said that's not going to happen, that's not going to happen, he's going to spend years in jail for this, and if anything he will get deported. They told me that in the beginning. And then this last week they called me, well, sorry, then this last month they called me out of the blue and said, we would like to be there for you on court. And the victim's advocate did. And then when we got to court, they were pulling the citizen patrol guy into a room. And thankfully, I happened to walk in at the same time and I joined in the conversation. And they said, unfortunately, even though he was found competent for trial, he was not competent in the moment. So he's going to get not guilty with reason of insanity. And
Was that was the plea deal?
yes.
But I guess my issue is I was in media at North Carolina, Alabama. I covered death penalty cases in North Carolina. And whenever anything happens like this, when they're working on a plea deal, usually I could be wrong, but when it even comes up in the prosecutor's mind, they call you. They bring you in and they say, "Hey, Alicia, we're thinking about a plea deal. What do you think about this?" That never happened.
No, no.
So you didn't know about the fact that there was going to be a plea deal until the day it happened.
The walking into the court case, and I was told that this was not going to happen.
So prior to that, no one ever even had the courtesy to call you and give you a heads up about how you feel about it.
No, no,
Okay.
and he's competent for trial, so he's good when he's medicated, and they say that. And but it's the problem when he gets out of their custody that he doesn't take his medication, and so
Okay.
now he's escalated from all of his violent crimes to now kidnapping, and is getting away with it.
Okay.
Yep.
So he was up until that point, he was legal. He was competent. We never thought he was going to be in mentally whatever, right? He was going to be good.
Well, he did say it's the minute the policeman got there, he said accident, lawyer. There was one other word, but I can't remember, and he knew to ask for a lawyer.
Do you speak English?
Oh, he said crazy. No, not
Okay.
much. Those were the three English words he said. The rest were not in English.
Okay, I'm going to bring this up right here. This is a news release from Macomb County, August 15th, 2024. Shelby Township man arraigned for alleged kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment. That's his mugshot right there, I guess, right?
Hmm.
23-year-old man arraigned today in connection with these incidents. It lays it all out. 5-year felony, uh, all this other stuff here, 2 million bond. It goes into everything. And the prosecutor said, as a community, we owe a debt of gratitude to the good Samaritans that stepped in. We'll do everything in our power to ensure the individual held responsible faces justice. Is that being done?
No, not at all. He's going to get put into one of these mental homes, which are just on the side of the road. We had one on a dirt road 2 doors down, and they're all over. They're just in subdivisions, and they're next door to homes with families in them. And the last time he was just released after 2 days. That's all on public record. It can easily be Google searched.
So the judge approved the plea deal, or no, not yet.
Oh, no, yeah, we are begging that he does not accept the plea deal and that we take this to trial so that he can get this conviction on record.
Do we
He's
know the name of the judge? Because I'll put it out there.
Yes, Judge Matthew Sabah, Sabaugh.
Okay. So, and how things work is the defendant, the guy, and the prosecutor, they get together, they decide on a plea deal, and then next week, well, coming up on Wednesday, that's when they go to court and they ask the judge to approve it, right?
Yes, that's what it
Okay.
sounds like.
Do you get to speak before they make a decision?
No, the prosecution has made it very clear that their hands are tied. We can do nothing about this, that we can't say anything, that the judge has no say. Even when so I kind of accidentally got in trouble at the last court date because I said I started recording and I didn't know you weren't supposed to. And I said, well, I don't understand. He literally just asked someone if they were a legal citizen, the person before us. And I'm like, you're asking people if they are, but here you are going to let an illegal migrant here walk for kidnapping and you don't know what's going on. He's like, I don't know this case at all.
Okay, that's a also this guy's name is Endi Bala. I don't care how I pronounce it. Um, when someone does bad stuff like that, I don't care if I mispronounce their name. So he, according to the Macomb Daily, I'm citing their article that they say, or his attorney says that he is not a U.S. citizen, but he's
Mm-hmm.
in the country legally, or he was in the country, or at the time. Do we know?
No, can we make that make sense? Anybody? Nobody can answer that for me. But the policeman did say that day that he was here on a visa that was expired for a long time, so he did not go through the steps to become a citizen. So he is
Okay,
here
so
illegally.
you didn't just make that up. A police officer told you that.
Yes, the day of the incident, he told me that.
Okay, so they must have ran his background or his check or whatever. And so the man who did this, he was in the country on a visa at some point. The visa expired. He was still in the United States when he allegedly committed this crime. So at that point, he wasn't supposed to be in the country.
Correct. And
Okay.
the worst part is too, I'm not the worst part. So correct. It was also told that since my son was ran over by his car, that it was turned into a traffic accident. But when we went to the hospital, he doesn't have any insurance because he's illegal. So it's all falls on to our insurance, our car insurance of all things. And we were just on a simple bike ride. So our car insurance went up. We were not driving a car. And yeah, all of the bills are on us. So it's just been lovely.
So financially, you've been on top of mentally being hurt by this big time too.
Yeah, therapy's not cheap either.
No, I hate to do this, but that's the guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna stare him down in court. Have you already done that before? Have you seen him in court?
Oh yeah, and he stares me down evilly. Just this last time, actually, when the judge brought me up, he brought me right next to him, which was insane. I don't understand how it was very traumatic. It's hard. It triggers me every single time. It sets me back to just this dark hole, and I can't. I've lost my job, my business. I've barely held on to my day job. It's been brutal.
Wow. Okay. So it's just it floors me, and everything you're saying lines up because what you're telling me happened is exactly what the news release says that Macomb County, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Macomb County sent it out. Giving all the details. Yeah, saying everything here. So it's not like the facts are in question. Did they explain to you why they're having him the plea deal for what is the word? Mentally
Not
incompetent?
not guilty with reason of insanity.
Okay. Have they explained why?
Because he had like a manic episode in the moment. Even though they got him competent to understand, like he's back to himself and he's medicated. He's been medicated for a year now. He understands that he's in jail. He understands that he committed a crime, but he cannot be tried for that crime, is what they are telling me.
Okay. So, do you know the penalty then from this? Like what could happen to him?
So yes, they told me that he will be sent there. So we had another evaluation. This will be our fourth evaluation, and he is going. They're trying to decide which facility to put him into. But we only have one forensic center, which is they closed all the mental health institutions that we had in Michigan in the 80s, and so they only have one forensic center, which is fully stocked and full. That's why it's taken this long to get him even evaluated, and so he is not going to go there. There's a couple other ones, and then there's those homes that are popping up everywhere. And so on the 10th is where, well, actually, we don't even find out where he goes, what happens to him, if he'll be released or not, because due to HIPAA laws, which he's not even a citizen for, so I don't understand how he qualifies for HIPAA. But as a victim, we do not know when he will be released, where he'll be. We have no idea. After the article was starting to be wrote, they asked the prosecutors for a statement on this and asked why they're not contesting it, and they said that they will find a way to let us know, but that's not what they told us the day of the meeting.
Wow. Okay. So you're not even going to get a chance to speak Wednesday. You don't think?
No, no, she's told the grandmother of the teenager who was kidnapped that there's not a chance.
Have you talked to the teenager, the other incident? Um, well, they're still a juvenile, right? So, what is their guard? Does their guardian agree with this plea deal?
Absolutely not. She has been trying her best to get the word out there and figure out. She has asked her prosecutor, I think it's an assistant prosecutor, I'm not 100% sure how this works. She's asked her if we could make statements. She's asked her what we can do, and they said there's nothing we can do.
Okay, so both of you are on board. You don't want a plea deal. Um, so the only thing left now is really it's in the judge's hands. What is in your worry? So if he goes to like you said, there's not many mental facilities around. Could he be out roaming around after 6 months, 3 months, or whatever?
Yeah, that's the problem with these facilities the homes that they have on the side of the streets is that they get evaluated now. Since the pandemic, they used to get evaluated every year, but now they get evaluated every 6 months. So if you're good for 6 months, technically you are up for review. And so when they come back in 6 months, if you are still good, which, like, as the lawyer said, he's a great guy when he's on his medication, he will be released to the public. And we will have no whereabouts about or when. It'll just happen. And with his previous crime, the barbershop owner, but he was convicted of malicious destruction of property and breaking and entering, he went back and went back and went back and went back. And so that's why I'm genuinely fearful, is that he knows this has been national news. He knows it's really easy. Everyone has Googled my name, my number, my address, and it's really easy to find people nowadays. And I'm asking who's going to be to blame if this guy comes to my house.
Yeah, and obviously, if he could snap like that, that's a concern. But also, just the general public. What?
Grabbed a child. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but middle of the day. I'm shocked. Like, he had no fear, does not care. He has no respect for boundaries, authority, safety. He told the other girl, the teenager, that he was going to F her up. And this has been violently escalating. He has had violent offenses since 2019 that have just gotten worse and worse. They started as a small assault. You can see this all on public record. Assault, all these things leading up to now kidnapping. And so what goes next?
Yeah, he has a history. You are telling me that he has a history of crime.
Yes, arrests.
Some of those arrests have the charges have been dropped, though.
Yes, because the family didn't want to press charges.
Okay, and I will say innocent till proven guilty. But when
Yes.
it comes Wednesday, it will be the judge will be the one to decide innocent, guilty, and you're hoping that judge will say no, 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 no.
Yeah.
This, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a shame. I don't understand how we can continue to let someone. I'm not for being disrespectful. I understand mental illness is fully aware. We have a lot of mental illness in the family. I'm not saying we need to, what's the words? I'm not trying to hurt him by any means, but let's keep him safe from himself, from the community. Let's keep him behind bars and medicated, fully fed, taken care of on our tax dollar, even if we're going to keep him here. But let's keep him behind bars, please.
and
Thank you.
is he really going to get the help? Because we know Michigan is a complete failure when it comes to mental health.
Yeah, and even Gretchen Whitmer herself, her response to my call that I left was that she can't provide counsel, that I need to seek legal counsel, as if I don't have a public offender, which is our prosecutor.
And so you just called the governor's office probably, and
I called and I submitted a ticket online. Yes,
did they actually get back with you?
she emailed late last night. Yes,
Her assist or someone in her office?
she signed off as she said I and my staff are not able to give counsel, and that she signed off as Gretchen Whitmer. So whether it was her or not, I'm not sure, but.
Okay. Wow. That's yeah. I mean, she could have asked AG Nessel, but I don't know. So wow. So you're wow. Yeah. It just if I it's a nightmare literally that you're living through, and just a random day like these things are usually rare, but you said you were always safe. But for this
Yeah.
to happen, how are you going about your day now? I mean, you got to be freaked out when you're
I'm a
going around.
crazy. They're making me insane, and that's what they're doing. They're creating more mental illness due to this. Like, think of the children who we're not telling them right now, and I hope that we won't have to. Obviously, I think they told the teenager, but she's been in self-defense classes. We can't put the babies in self-defense. We're trying to move forward and stay positive and optimistic for them. But internally, I'm an adult. I can't forget and move on so easily. I try not to go anywhere without my husband. My head's on a swivel. I can't barely conversate. I'm a mess. Like,
Well, you
it's
shouldn't.
brutal. I don't trust anybody.
You shouldn't have to. So your 7-year-old niece, your 8-year-old son. Wait, your 7-year-old niece was almost kidnapped. Your 8-year-old boy was run over by this person allegedly,
I think
and
I think she was kidnapped because she was placed.
oh yeah, there is kidnapping charges. Okay,
Yeah, she
so
was kidnapped.
if I summarize this to anyone and say, so your 7-year-old niece was kidnapped allegedly by this man. He allegedly ran over your 8-year-old son. And before that, in the day, he attempted to kidnap a 15-year-old. And now he most likely will be found not guilty by reason of insanity. And you're worried that he could be let out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the problem when he was arrested that day finally. They didn't know if he didn't have a criminal history because most of them have been wiped. So that leaves him with a clear record. So when he does get out in a year or so from this mental home, he's going to have a very clean record that doesn't say that he grabbed a child and tried to take her.
So once again, that court appearance, that court case will be on Wednesday in a Macomb County court. It will be up to the judge on whether or not he will accept this plea deal. I will have the very latest. Make sure you're following me right here. Stay with me. I'm on top of it, everybody. I've been looking into this for the last few days. I've gotten all sides to the story. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and keep following me here for the very latest.